on? Welcome to the Lethal Truth, where the truth shall set you free. I'm talking about mentally. Sometimes it can be physically, depending on your situation. I hope everybody is having a good day. Thank you for tuning in with me today. Thank you for being here with me today. I got a lot to talk about. I got a lot to dish out. Oh man, it's so much going on. But you know me, I'm gonna give it like 2 minutes, not five. I'm gonna give it like 2 minutes for people to tune in. You know what I'm saying? And make sure we get right on board to what's going on today. Got to start, laying down and easing up on my profanity. Now I've been listening to myself lately. I'm like, oh, I'm sounding a little harsh, so I got to tone it down a bit. But yeah, definitely, I got a good one for y'all today. So, like I said, we're going to wait for some people to tune in. Right now, when you get in, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go tell a friend that I'm on, you know what I'm saying? Hit that share button. So we're gonna wait for some people to tune in. I hope everybody been having a good day. Man, it's been an exciting week, right? It's only what, Wednesday? Tuesday? Whew. Been an exciting week so far. Even though they say Monday's the first day of the week, but actually it's Sunday. Sunday is the first day of the week. So we're gonna give it another minute, then we're gonna go right into it. It's nothing like some cold water. Cold water does the body good. Man, there's a whole lot going on. We got the thing with Donald Trump. We got the thing with Cassie. We got the thing with Shaylo, Hendrix. We got Shannon Sharpe. We're going to cover, man. We're going to cover a lot today, Like I said, I got to be consistent with it. I'm back, baby. I'm back. I wasn't here yesterday, but I was here the day before. So let's get right into it. Let's dive right into it. First thing first, let's talk about this Diddy trial. Now, see what I was saying to you before? I was saying that the things that we hear in social media is really not the truth. We done heard so much. We heard that he was kidnapping people. We heard Diddy was into conspiracy. We heard he was blowing up cars. We heard so much about guns. We heard all the freak offs, all the baby oil. We even heard him sleeping with men. We heard all of this on social media, right? Everybody said he's over with. He's fried. He's not coming home. They denied him bond. He put $50 million up to get out of jail. $50 million, and they denied him. They said because he's a danger to society. You believe this? A danger to society. So they denied him bond. Now let's be for real here. Like, come on now. Let's come on now. Let's be for real. I gotta laugh at that one. I really gotta laugh at that one because now the things that we're hearing concerning Puff is totally different. It's real interesting, because we heard him having all these charges. We heard all the stories. We heard all these fake security guards, Gene Deal, all these people that have been talking about Puff for 20 years because they get paid to go on people's show on their podcast live to dish out dirt about celebrities. So, of course, you got to lie. You got to keep getting money. So, like people like Gene Deal, he made a career of this, So now that Puffy's arrested and he's locked up for all of this garbage or not garbage, but charges that he has against, which we all heard over 50 people and 100 people. We was quick to criticize him because the media decided to tell us what to think about instead of what we should be thinking about. So you keep hearing about the same charges and you hear it on social media. What happens is people that's ignorant to law ignorant to what's going on. They make these fake pages or pages, though other contents just to get views, and they put their 2 cents in, and they strike up a conversation about theories and possibilities instead of the facts. And so we run with it, and then we make these long all day podcasts about things that's not facts, and then by the time it really gets to everybody's ear, we hearing so many different stories. But now we on trial. See, if you notice, while we was making all of these accusations on social media, have you noticed that Diddy's lawyer wasn't saying anything? Have you noticed that the prosecutors wasn't saying anything in the media? It was only you guys. Hold on. Yeah, it was only you guys. It was only us that was actually making these accusations about his case. We wasn't there. The media wasn't there. The only one that was there was the people that was involved. And in order for them to be involved, they had to consent. They had to be trusted. And one of the things that we notice about celebrities is when celebrities deal with people that's not celebrities, automatically they have you sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, because it's a trendsetter with people that want money for millionaires and billionaires, especially when they deal with them on a sexual level. This has been a trend. Oh, he raped me after 10 years. You want to say that so you could get some money. So they have this thing called NDA. So if you go into these so-called freak-offs, or what we call in my lifestyle, the lifestyle party, aka swinger parties, certain people on puffy status, you're gonna sign an NDA or you're not getting in those parties. That's just point blank, just like that. Now, let's get right into it. Right? So, have you noticed since Diddy been locked up, have you noticed that things have been changing? For example, the house, the mansion that he had put up for sale, that 60 point something $million mansion, he took that off the market. You know why? Because he knew he was coming home. He knew the charges was bull. It's a waste of time. It was a waste of court money. Now, did you know, right? In February 2025, him and Jay-Z was accused and put into civil court dealing with, matter of fact, let's backtrack first. Why are they coming at Diddy like this? Why all of a sudden all of this is going on? Because we all understand that Diddy went at the powerful alcohol company or liquor distribution company, Diego, who he had at least 2 contracts with Ciroc and De Leon. Once he was done with Ciroc, his investment, he didn't own it. They would never let us own anything on our own, especially liquor brands like that. We're only good enough for them when it comes for us to make them money. And I'm talking about white supremacy, that white system, right? So when Diddy decided that he wanted to switch his brands to get his own, which was De Leon, somehow, some way, he actually got his own brand, right? So what they tried to do was they were trying to sabotage his business, and it wasn't putting out certain materials or ingredients that had to do with his alcohol, his liquor. And I believe it was supposed to be distributed in Mexico, and he knew something was wrong, because he knew that when it comes to Black people in business, they like to pigeonhole us into an urban market or urban section. Like Sean John, he trying to make Sean John like Polo, and they put it in an urban section like Rockaway, Fat Farm, and so forth. So it won't be sold like that universally. So that's what they try to do with the alcohol. If you notice, when you go to the liquor store, they'll have certain brands with the white brands, and they will have certain brands with the Black brands, and certain brands, or what I say, urban brands, or certain urban brands you can't even find in the white community in their liquor store. So when you go to the liquor store, you'll see, or the Hennessy, the Cosmico, you'll see all of that most Black people drink in one section. And in another section, you'll see all white. and excuse me, you're in one section, you'll see mostly alcohol or wine that mostly white people drink. So Puffy knew what they was trying to do. And then on top of that, they wasn't giving him the material or the ingredients to actually make his alcohol. So they was hindering him in his business, and he was being sabotaged. So he put in a lawsuit. In the process of doing that, he already started making rounds into the media talking about that he wanted to make a black political party. He didn't want to do the Black Caucus because those was the gatekeepers. Those were the house Negroes of the black community. So he was trying to get other powerful heads to come together with him to make a political party for black people that has a say-so in it. Because he said, yo, I'm around these billionaires, I'm around these millionaires in these political parties, and we're not even a conversation when it comes to politics. We're not even a topic. So he wanted to do something. So and automatically at that point, they're looking at it like, see, this nigga's getting beside himself. And then they came after him. So all of a sudden, Cassie decides to come to him and decided to tell him, give me 30 million or whatever the case may be, and or you'll go to jail. This is what we heard first. There's another story to this. This is what we heard first. So automatically, to our assumption, we find out that Puffy gave up 30 million within 24 hours. We felt like, oh, yo, he got something to hide. Yo, he gave us 30 million. The only reason why we feel like that is because we never saw $30 million. To us, that's too much money, and that's a lot of money to settle court. Where me and you come from, we're actually used to hearing settlements like $30,000, $50,000 settlement, $100,000 settlement, 30 million. Nah, you got something to hide. To him, it's not like that. So now, while he's being arrested for this, because they raided his crib, they put his children in handcuffs, they took everybody out for no apparent reason in handcuffs. Homeland Security deals with things that's dealing with the country on the outside. Why is Homeland Security in his house? I don't understand that. Shouldn't it just be the federal government, like FBI? I don't even know why they was there. But according to what we were seeing, he had drugs, he had guns all over the place, and then we started hearing about baby oil. I never knew the feds would take the time out to confiscate a baby oil and count exactly 1,000 bottles. Why? It's not a weapon. So why? Who came up with this calculation that it was actually 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Another propaganda. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this? So now Puffy, like I said, he's locked up. He's getting his case together. He got a powerful team. One of his lawyers is from Michael Jackson's legal team, where it helped him beat his case. Others are from Johnny Cochran's team. He had one from the Young Thug case that helped Young Thug get off. Like, he got a powerful team. Like, they not playing no games at all. And they was in court for the past 2 days on his trial, and they was lighting things up. So we're gonna get right into this case, right? So they do the jury selection. They try to do some bullcrap too. The prosecutor. They tried to add Johnny Depp's lawyer into the jury selection. Now, see, Puffy lawyers, they with him about this because this is tampering with witnesses, or excuse me, tampering with the jury on the law. See, because when you have an experienced, high-profile lawyer in the jury box, what happens is the jury who don't know the law is going to start asking that lawyer for their input on how they see things, and whatever that lawyer says, they're going to run with it and believe because they feel like he's right. They're not going to go with their own feelings or how they see it. So they're going to listen to it. So this tampers with the jury and their mindset and what they believe in. So they had to get him out of there. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if he's done it. Why a high profile lawyer like him would be in a jury box? Like, you deal with A-list actors. You're a multi-millionaire lawyer. You're from a powerful firm. How are you in a jury box? No, that wasn't going to happen. Yeah, it was the prosecutors. They try to do that. Why? Because they ain't really got nothing. That's why. They ain't really got nothing. So as this case was going on, you had Tony Bugsby, right? A lawyer who we later on found out that his license was invalid. He wasn't eligible to practice law, I believe in New York City or in this country, period. But for some apparent reason, he gathered up all these people that said they was molested by Puffy, a whole bunch of men, a whole bunch of women, to the point he started putting billboards up with his phone number saying, if you was molested by Puff Daddy, call me. And people were just running with it saying Jane Doe and John Doe, and they can't release their real names because they are afraid and so forth. It was just a money grab, because that's what lawyers do. When you get into a situation and somebody get hurt, anybody in that facility gets hurt by the city or whatever, they start calling people up and they want a case. The more people they get, the stronger the case becomes. So this is what he was trying to do. But it blew up in his face because we found out that he wasn't eligible to practice law with his license. His license was suspended. So everything that he was saying was not factual. It was incorrect. It was wrong. It was an error. It was based on all lies. He wasn't even eligible. And his license was suspended for this type of tactic. So over 100 cases in legal services that had to deal with Puff Daddy was dismissed. Over 100 lawsuits was dismissed. In 2005 of February, Tony Bugsby decided to put in a lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z, saying that they molested a 13-year-old girl. And we all remember that. And for some apparent reason, she started to change her story. Instead of saying Diddy, she was focusing more on Jay-Z. But Jay-Z, we already know, he stepped to the forefront. He was like, let's get this thing going on. We found out that the girl was lying. We found out that her parents even lied. I mean, it's not her parents. We found out her father was even saying she was lying. It was like, how the hell you make it from point A to point B across state line at 13 and you make it into the what? What it was, I believe it was the VMA awards. How you make it through the red carpet at 13 years old? Stop lying. First of all, at 13, how do you even get in a party and be around grown men like Jay-Z? You got a whole bunch of millionaires and billionaires, and you talking about you was around and then you wanted to meet up later on at the hotel. But we couldn't find out it was a lie. Because it's a money grab, and it's a setup to destroy the most powerful black man, one of the most powerful black men in America. You understand? So they was coming for Diddy. They was coming for Jay-Z. They tried it, but they really was focusing on Diddy because of Cassie. Because everybody thought that Diddy had something to hide because he gave her 30 million so fast. Now, in the process of that, in March of 2025, a civil case was dismissed from one of Diddy's accusers, who was calling herself Jane Doe, was another Jane Doe. And the judge was like, listen, when you're dealing with a civil case, you got to say your name. You got to say your age. I can't just hold this case without your name and your age. They didn't want to do that. So the judge dismissed the case. You're lying. You know you're lying. Because if you're there, everybody I probably know, you say, yo, come on, man, that person is lying. Like, come on. And then they start looking at your background, where you live at and how you live. If you was having sex with Jay-Z or Diddy and you was there escort here and there or every weekend, you're going to pretty much be living a little bit better than you probably normally was. So you can't say Jane Doe couldn't let that name come out. So they dismissed that case too. It's funny how we're not hearing about all these dismissals, but we're hearing about all the accusations more than the dismissals. Did you know that Puff Daddy's RICO charge, the racketeering charge, with the conspiracy and everything like that, with the car blowing up and all of this and making money illegally, you know, that charge was dismissed? As a matter of fact, that is the most powerful charge in his case. And that got dismissed. Look at that now. And that got dismissed. So what's going on here? I mean, what's really going on here? It's a bunch of accusations, but a lot of dismissals is going on, all the way down to the civil courts. Even lawsuits is getting dismissed. But yet they don't want to let Puffy out. They say he's a danger. So now the RICO charge is dismissed, the conspiracy charge is dismissed, the kidnap charge is dismissed. So all we got really now is the sex trafficking charge. But yeah, like they had seven charges, right? What happened? I thought he was having sex with dead bodies and everything y'all was talking about. What happened? Why is all that dismissed? Because I was never charged. I was up there making charge. That's why I always say the jury is going to hear everything that's on social media, because the social media is designed to have someone, social media is designed to make someone biased towards another one, especially when it comes to court cases, right? But when you get to court, and like I said, once Diddy got to court, you was going to hear something totally different. Everything that you hearing in court now, you're not really hearing in social media besides the videotape and Cassie. Well, let's get into that. Let's get into that. Oh, also in March of 2025, remember that guy, Little Rod, that had the civil cases? You know those cases were dismissed? Yeah, those dismissed too. What happened? You don't hear about Little Rod no more? See how all of this is this bull crap? This is bull crap. But Harvey Weinstein is on appeal bail. He's out chilling in a wheelchair, right? But yet you got A-list movie stars that's actually coming out right now that's saying he molested them, or he offered roles and sexual favors, or told them they wasn't going to make it if they didn't do it. These are A-list white people, movie stars, actors and actresses that's saying this. But yeah, he's still wheeling around. So today, Puffy's on trial, and they get on the stand. Now things get real hectic, because things get real dangerous for the prosecutor, and it kind of blow up in their faces. So we all know about the video, right? We all know about the video. Because this is what the prosecutor is using in a sex trafficking case. A video that deals with domestic violence, not sex trafficking. This is their ace in the hole, and Cassie's their star witness in a sex trafficking case that they're dealing with and talking about domestic behaviors, domestic violent behaviors, right? So the first person they call on the stand is one of the male escorts. Now I wanna read out what is sex trafficking, because most people, they don't understand what that charge is. They hear it, and some of them actually think it's just kidnapping someone and you smuggling from point A to point B, you know. So I'm gonna get it out for you. So let's read it out. Let's see what sex trafficking is. These charges. Hold on. Okay. Sex trafficking is a human trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation. Perpetrators of the crime are called sex traffickers or pimps. So in other words, this is a guy or female that has another female or guy that's under them, who they may be calling their hoes, where they have to go do sexual favors in exchange for money for that pimp. This is sex trafficking. This is not someone who's buying coochie and bringing the coochie over to have sex. This is one that's sending somebody to go sell a coochie to have sex for money or male. This is prostitution. This is sex trafficking. This is why when you see on TV and the female, she gets in the car and she's trying to sell her body off to a stranger, and the guy pulls out the bag and they lock her up. And the first thing they do is, we're looking for your pimp. They don't ask about none of the Johns you had that night, because the Johns is not sex traffickers. They're just the John. They're the customers, like Diddy. So let's go. People who manipulate victims to engage in various forms of commercial sex with paying customers. So this is manipulation now. This is technology now. This is not something that you just lay out in front and say, yo, listen, I want you to have sex with so-and-so and you down with me. See, when you say that and the person say, okay, cool, that's consent. Manipulation is something that you have no idea what's going on. In other words, you might say, yo, listen, let's go, come to my place. We can have sex with some, whatever. And you might pick the person's brain and say, hey, you into threesomes? And they may say, yeah, and I seen this happen. And the guy takes a female and they go to the apartment and there's another female already there. And she's like, oh shit, I'm caught up in a triangle now. What do I do? So this is like a manipulation. This is not consent yet. Now you have the opportunity to leave if you don't want that threesome, but if you still get caught up in that manipulative situation and you go forth with it, you now consent to it. It's different. All right. So sex traffickers use force, fraud, or coercion as they recruit, transport, and provide their victims as prostitutes. So far, we haven't heard Diddy forcing nobody with physical force, not by gunpoint, not by fraud, not by blackmail. He may promise them stuff like, yo, listen, you do this, you know what I'm saying? I got you, you know what I'm saying? Later on, we're going to go shopping. That's like selling your ass if you agree to it. Because if a person presents you with a gift for your services and you consent to it, then that's not fraud or force. That's consensual. You do it. Okay. Sometimes victims are brought into a situation of dependency on the traffickers, financially or emotionally. So, in other words, and I've seen this happen when I was growing up, guys used to hire these little teenagers when I was a teenager, and they'll run away from home and they have nobody to deal with. They'll deal with the fellas that around the way that has a place for them to stay. And now they feel like, yo, I ain't got nowhere to go. I'm going to go here. And now his friends is in there and they all want to have sex. And she feels like, you know what? Yo, I'm going to just have sex with everybody so I can stay. But she has to let it be known, like, hey, don't just agree to it without saying anything, because the other person that's presenting this offer don't know what's going through your mind. If you just say, oh man, damn, he just presented that to me and I'm going to just go ahead. The other person don't know what you thinking. You consented. But if you putting up a little struggle, like, no, I'm not with this, like, nah, no, and they keep trying to force you and talk to you, manipulate you psychologically to the point where now the psychological process of those words force you to do something, yeah, that's definitely a force right there. That's definitely sex trafficking. And that's definitely someone that's dealing with it emotionally, especially financially, because they got nowhere to go. So they like, yo, you know what? I'm going to just stay here and do what I do. Now, every aspect of sex trafficking is considered a crime, from acquisition to transportation and exploitation of victims. This includes any sexual exploitation of adults or minors, including child sex tourism and domestic minor sex trafficking. That's it. That's what Puffy is locked up for. This is what y'all been all going crazy over in social media for the past, 6, 7, 8 months? This is the only charge he has. All those other charges you heard of, it was dismissed. So you ain't got nothing. So now the male escorts he gets on the stand. This is not the Puffy's defense team's witness. This is the prosecutor's witness. He is helping the prosecutor to convict Puffy. He gets on the stand. He says that Puffy never asked him to urinate on Cassie in her mouth, because Cassie said that he had got a male escort to urinate on her and she didn't want to do it, but he did it anyway because she did it anyway because Puffy had an evil look on his face. But the male escort on the stand is saying Puffy didn't do that. Puffy didn't ask me to urinate in her mouth. She asked me to urinate in her mouth. Uh-oh. You just messed up the whole cases now. Because now you actually said that it was Puffy that was making you do this. This was the runaround that people were saying, that Cassie was saying. She didn't actually say it out in the public, but she was saying, they were saying sources close to Cassie. Because you know that she can't really say too much because she already signed the NDA. She already signed the NDA saying that she wasn't going to say anything because she already took the 30 million. We're going to get to that. Oh, this is beautiful, man. Hit that like button, communicate clearly, be Pacific. Peace, man. Sorry I missed your live. I'll be over there later on to see what you was talking about earlier, man. I'm so busy. So now, this messed the defense team case up because now it shows that what Cassie's saying is contrary and contradictory to what the escort's saying. Because now the only thing the escort is saying is, yes, Puffy hired me. He paid me. I agreed. I consented. And he flew me out. And we came to the hotel. And this is what we had, what y'all call the freako. Because Puffy's in a lifestyle. When you got that much money, man, listen, I'm in a lifestyle. I had that much money, man. I be going to freakos every week too. It's my life. I be getting the yachts. I be getting all kind of exotic women from everywhere. You got the money. You don't need to rate nobody. So this is what he's doing. He gets them all every week. And he's calling Cassie, who he actually bagged from Ryan Leslie. She said she was told, they asked her on the stand, but she didn't get on the stand yet. Hold on. We're going to get to her. Oh, we're going to get to her. So this male escort, he confirms everything what the defense team been saying about Diddy and his freako party. It's consensual. He signed the NDA and everything. This is why you never heard of him. You never heard, you still haven't even really heard his name. The defense team went to go search for him. Now, I don't know why it blew up in their face, because prior to you getting on the stand, what lawyers do and the prosecutors do, they call her or they coach their witness before they get on the stand to make sure they say the right things and don't say the wrong things. You understand what I'm saying? So when he went up there and he said Cassie gave him the consent to pee in her mouth and not Diddy, he said all Diddy was doing was sitting down on a bed naked, and he was stroking himself. This is what you call voyeurism. This is voyeurism. This is what voyagers do at an LS party. Sometimes not sometimes, all the time, they don't want to have sex. They don't want to have that intimate connection or intercourse. They just want to sit back and watch, and they get off or watching people in a sexual encounter. It's like watching porn. You stroking yourself and you watch. This is what they do. This is called voyeurism. This is what Puffy was doing. See, he's messed up their case. See, y'all thought y'all had a sex trafficking case. Y'all have a whole case about a swinging lifestyle. See how the prosecutor right now looks stupid? So now he gets off. So now they postpone Cassie's testimony for a minute. They said, wait. It's just stop, wait, because she was supposed to get on right after that. They had to pause it because now he just made her testimony look real bad. So what's she gonna get up there and say, right? So now you got the security. They want to put him on. They put Cassie on the back burner for a second. They got to figure it out. Because this escort, he just damaged the case just now. He just damaged everything. Like, wait a minute, she down with it? You hearing it from another party. Now, the jury is definitely looking at like, wait a minute, this is your witness, Mr. Prosecutor. What's going on here? See what I'm saying? I told you, once trial starts, you're going to start hearing a whole different story, baby. Because it's different. When you get on that stand, you can say anything outside the stand, and you could talk to your mans or whatever. But once you on the stand, you get nervous because you have an audience now. Even if you coach, because the prosecutor or the defense team, whoever side you're on, they're going to ask you questions to make you feel comfortable on the stand. But once the opposition comes after you, you don't know where they're coming, and they trip you up. They trip you up. So the prosecutor was tripped up. Cassie couldn't take the stand at that point. Listen to this. It gets even more crazy. So one of the security guards that at the Intercontinental Hotel was summoned because we saw the Cassie video. We saw Diddy beat Cassie up. I don't agree with that. You know what I'm saying? Unless she was trying to physically harm him, I don't agree with it. And she like in the defense mode. She on the floor. I don't think he should have went that far, you know? But that's just my opinion. So the security at this time was like, he wasn't the head of security, but he was more like second or third in command. Like he was one of the bosses that the people on the floors that on the security floor, I mean, one of the security teams on the floor, they go answer to him. You understand? So they called him because, you know, Diddy is a household name. They're like, you know, Sean Combs, like, so he got to deal with this now because, you know, the hotel reputation name is on the line. So he goes up there and he takes control of the situation. Now, on the stand, he says that, you know, Diddy dragged Cassie back to the Diddy dragged Cassie back to the hotel room. As a matter of fact, excuse me, he didn't know actually the room was Diddy at that point, excuse me. So so he says, right? So when he gets there, he see the commotion with Diddy and Cassie. So automatically he said he took his phone out and he started to record it on the low. Now you put your phone out, you put it to your side, you hit record. So he's recording the whole situation that's going on. So he's on a jury saying that Cassie wanted to leave, and Diddy said, no, I don't want her to leave. She's staying. We don't know what it's for, whatever the case may be. It wasn't a freak off party because the security guard said, look, it was another fella in there that was like 7 foot with dark clothes, and he was sitting on the bed. It wasn't a freak off party. Maybe they had a threesome. She, according to her, Diddy wanted her to have a threesome and she didn't want to. Or it's another thing they also saying that Diddy saw some text messages on the phone and that's what blew up. We don't know that, you know, we in different sides on why the ass whooping took place. But what we know is that with the security guard is saying, and at this time, like I said, he's one of the top security guards at that moment. But today, he's LAPD. Yes, he's a police officer and he works for the Los Angeles Police Department. So his word has to be credible. Credibility now. Now it changes. He couldn't do like other witnesses because there was another witness that they said he couldn't find for some apparent reason. He can't do that. He couldn't just disappear because you're LAPD. You have to come in now. So he's there and he's giving a testimony. So he's there saying that since Cassie wanted to leave, he had to step in and take over the situation and told Puff, yo, she has to leave. You know, it said that the dark figure actually took Cassie into his arms and carried her away. Cassie allowed it to happen. Her eyes, she had a purple eye and everything like that, right? He said that Puffy had struck her. He saw the bruise. Actually, he said he believes Puffy struck her, but he didn't see any of the domestic violence, which we saw on tape. But at that moment, he didn't see anything. Now, the defense team comes and cross-examines. Now, they ask him, you said in your complaint, well, not even complaint, because he has to write an incident report. In your incident report, you didn't say that Cassie had a purple eye and was struck and was hit or was abused. You said everything was okay and it was just a regular argument. Uh-oh. You messed up. You lied. Then on top of that, he said he sent his wife the original video. He sent the original video. So who's to say what is true with this officer or this security guard? 1 minute you saying that an incident took place and Cassie was beat up and had a purple eye and was swollen, but yet in your incident report, you said nothing was wrong. You said they had a regular argument. So you lied. You lied on your job in the security where you was there supposed to secure people. You lied. And I don't know what they did with the tape. Why didn't you call 911? This is your job. A domestic dispute took place. We saw it on video, so you wasn't doing your job. And you lied on the stand. And you lied on your incident report. We don't know what's true. See, messed up the prosecutor's case again. That's why Diddy over there chilling like, man, look at this. You see what it was? He didn't think this would have came out 9 years later. He thought, he covered it up. And probably Puff said, yo, no, don't call the police. You know what I'm saying? I got some money for you. I'm going to pay the hotel for, the disturbance and everything. I'm going to give a big tip. And yo, my man here, take like 10 grand. Just keep it hush. And he probably took it. We don't know. He probably took it. Because I have to look at it like this. Why didn't you call 911? Why you're the head? Let's say you're the head of security at that moment. Why? What prevented you from calling 911? Was it Cassie saying, don't call 911? Because he didn't say, she said, call 911, I want to press charges. Obviously, she didn't say that because there's no domestic violence report. So who's doing all the covering up? And if Puffy did cover that up, who helped him? The security guard that's taking the stand. Ain't this something? Ain't this something? Now, Cassie, she said that, and one of the male escorts also said, that it was another time that him and Diddy urinated in Cassie's mouth slowly because Diddy would say, hey, you're doing it too fast. You got to slow down. It's not funny, but this is what happens in a lifestyle. People have fetishes. And he told her, yo, ease up on the peeing, pee a little slower. And she had her mouth open. And she was with this man for 10 years. She said, now she gets on the stand. She said she met Diddy when she was 22, right? I guess this is around the time that she was with Ryan Leslie. And, Diddy promised her, record deal, whatever the case would be. I don't know. I wasn't there to see the contracts or anything. But I know after a while, she stopped dealing with Ryan Leslie and she got signed to Bad Boy. And she was up under Diddy musically and sexually. And she said a year later, Diddy invited her. They met at 19, so he was with her at 19. Okay, so it was 19. Woo! It sounds like Shannon Sharpe. We're going to get into all that too. A lot of these millionaires and these older guys, they like younger women, and a lot of younger women like older guys. We're going to get into that. Hopefully, if I have that enough time, I don't want to be here for like 14 hours. You know what I'm saying? So she said that a year later, he decided to introduce her into the lifestyle. And I'm pretty sure he told her what it was, what to expect, so on and forth. And I'm pretty sure by that time, they was already having threesomes. A man like Puffy, especially with that much money and that much power in the music industry, as a celebrity, you constantly gonna have threesomes. Regular sex is like basic to you. Well, with that much money, threesomes is basic to him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what he wants. And he's doing this like every week. You know what I mean? So I'm pretty sure he was like, all right, she young, I'm gonna take it slow. And after a while, he said, all right, I'm broken in. Let me introduce this lifestyle to her. And she said, oh, she was in love. She was nervous. This is what she said on the stand after she took the stand today. She was nervous and she consented to do it with him and for him because she was in love with him and she wanted to keep him. This is what she said. She wasn't forced into the lifestyle. She consented into the lifestyle. What goes on in the lifestyle? Sex, oral sex, sometimes anal sex, sometimes fetishes. This is why you hear baby, or maybe they like to have sex with this baby all around their bodies because it's slippery. It's a different feeling. You can't judge that man about his sexual appetite. Some of y'all got a sexual appetite that's crazy, that's different and it's weird. Or it may be weird to some other people, but not to you. Some of y'all might like this smelling bad feet. Some people get off on smelling gas. No, I'm serious. This is the lifestyle. It's levels to that. It's different levels. It's not just sex. Some people just go there, like what Puffy did with the voyeurism. It's just like the watch. Speaking of that, Cassie said when the first time that he took her to a LS party or had a LS party, he said, "I want to see you have sex with another man while I masturbate." That's voyeurism. This is his lady, so this is what he's getting off on. She consented. She didn't call rape, and she did this for 10 years. Yeah, they had some domestic disputes. Hit that like button. Yes, Lethal Seduction. Shout it out. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend to tune in. Tell a friend. Hit that share button. You know, she did this for 10 years. 10 years with other men, other females, and she consented to it. She didn't run away from it because you know why? She was enjoying it. Not only was she enjoying it, she was enjoying the celebrity status of being taking pictures with Puffy, or the celebrity status being taking pictures and being in Vogue and being in all these other multi-millionaire establishments and award parties and after parties. She enjoyed that attention. She enjoyed that life. She enjoyed the shopping that he was taking. There was no complaints, but they had a domestic problem. According to her, she didn't like the fact that, you know, Puffy had many women. She said he had many women. And yet she stayed. He had many women. And yet he stayed. Why? Because he's in the LS. He's supposed to have many women, or at least having sex with many women. That's what you do in the LS. That's what you do in that lifestyle. You can't expect a person to be in that lifestyle and they'll all of a sudden go cold turkey. That's not going to happen. It's going to be a whole lot of cheating going on unless that person gets tired of that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? So she said she consented to this. And as time went on, you know, Puffy introduced her to his personal trainer, who he allowed the personal trainer to be her personal trainer. I guess with all the flying and all the cheating and all the back and forth between her and Puffy, she said, since he was dealing with other people, I started to deal with other people. And she started to date and deal with the personal trainer, who she's married to today and have children with today and is now pregnant with today. It's a white fella, right? So they were saying that this is what Puffy found out in that hotel room, and that's when he went crazy on her, because it's like, I don't care who you're dealing with, but you're dealing with somebody that's shaking my hand and laughing and smiling in my face. That's what this being said, because like I said, it's two different stories on why that ass whooping took place at that hotel room. But we know it was enough for her to not call 911, and it was enough for her to still deal with Puffy physically, emotionally, and sexually, and financially for several years after that. Am I right? Because I'm pretty sure, I don't think Young Miami was still dealing with him around that time. She came afterwards, if I'm not correct. I don't know. I'm assuming here, but I know she was still dealing with Diddy, right? Until Diddy got tired of her and started dealing with Young Miami, right? So now, out of nowhere, and we all assuming this, maybe the liquor company, Diego, saw an opportunity with this video, because this video came out, right? But prior to the video coming out, Cassie calls Diddy's lawyers, right? And this is audio. They haven't presented this audio yet in court. It's 8 minutes and 12 seconds. We haven't heard about this. See, I told you when the trial started, you want to start hearing a whole different story. On this audio, Cassie is telling Diddy's lawyers, excuse me, I'm going to write a tell-all book. And if he wants to stop this book from coming out, this tell-all book that I know about his life for the past 10 years, everything that I dealt with him and seen, I'm going to put it in the book. And if you don't want this book to come out, then you'll have to pay me $30 million for the rights for the book to prevent the book from coming out. So now this is extortion. This is blackmail. Because now you're telling him and you're telling his lawyer on audio, if you don't give me this money, this is what I'm going to do. This is an extortion. Now, of course, Puffy gives her the $30 million within 24 hours. A lot of us say, yo, he's guilty. Yo, he did this. I even thought it. I was like, oh, yeah, he definitely guilty about something. What I think with the fact of is he gave her the $30 million because with that book when it came out, all the secrets that he'd been doing in his freak off for whatever person, like even if it's lies, it was going to hurt his credibility, his character, and all the contracts that he signed for multi-million-dollar companies. Because a lot of these companies, they don't like bad press. They want people with a perfect image. This is why Shannon Sharpe is going through what he's going through. Because the image that he presented is being tarnished now, and a lot of these companies don't want to deal with that type of limelight, that bad press. So Puffy said, listen, I got Diego going on. I got this. I just got $1 billion settlement. I'm about to make more money with this liquor. I got, what's that, Revlon. I'm part of that investment. He got a lot of things going on. He's going to lose more than $30 million. That ain't nothing. That's a coin in a bucket for him compared to everything that he was signed to. So he gives her the $30 million. We all run. We all judge them. She got the money. Not only she got the money, but she was also to sign an NDA. You can't talk about nothing in that book. Whatever you talking about in the book, whatever you want to come out with, you can't talk about it. Anything that's dealing in my personal life, you can't talk about. She signed. She got her check. Now prosecutors come. She breaks that contract. And then she gets up on the stand. This is very damaging because nobody heard about that conversation. We just heard that Cash is coming out with a book, and then Puffy just gave her $30 million. She said, if you don't give it to me, I'm exposing you. I'm talking about everything. Hold up. Yo, you got it. Take that. But it was nothing about no domestic violence going on. I mean, well, that she was actually going to be talking about on the stand. I mean, besides the video, because that's all they got. That's all the prosecution is centering around is that video. And they're trying to say it was a freak off. The security said it wasn't no freak off in there. There was no freak off in there. And if it was, then where's the witnesses and that was in the freak off there? Y'all heard, there was other celebrities involved. Where they at? You heard anybody? Ain't nobody talking. They don't got nothing. But maybe they do. It's still early. This is going on the third day. So far, prosecutors' case is looking real weak because they don't have nothing. They trying to find one of the witnesses right now. They MIA. What happened? Why Gene Deal wasn't there? Why they ain't call him? See, this is what I be trying to tell y'all. Pay attention to these content creators that be talking about they was around Puffy and all this. What was that other dude with a bald head that said he got poisoned at a party with all the ecstasy? Stop it. Why you think the prosecutors is not using these people? Because they lying. They was never there. And if you was there, you had to sign an NDA, so you can't say nothing, or you'll be sued. As long as no crime was being presented upon you. And of course it wasn't, because look how long ago you signed the NDA. Now Jaguar White, she was there, right? She was there outside the courthouse because she wanted publicity so everybody can say, yo, why Jaguar White is there? Yo, she might gonna be a witness. No, she's not on a witness because she don't know nothing. She just run her mouth. She don't know nothing. She up there talking about, well, I want to give justice for Albie Shaw and Kim Porter. They're not in the case. What are you talking about? What justice for what? We're talking about sex trafficking. Albie Shaw talking about he was poisoned. And he trying to point the finger at Diddy, but have no actual evidence that Diddy poisoned him. He just saying, well, I was around and then, you know, I could have got sick because of what happened with the other person. And you coming up with this Illuminati theory thing that you want everybody to run with. No, that don't have nothing to do with sex trafficking. I'll be sure this mad because Puffy took Misa Hilton from him. You know, the little light-skinned brother you see in them shows. What's that show? He was in Raising Kanan where Lou killed him in the studio. Yeah, that's Misa Hilton's son. That's the one that was in the Juicy video that she was holding with Biggie video. Yeah, that's him. So he's upset that Puffy took his woman and raised his son. He just rekindled with his son a couple of years ago. But yeah, you've been a celebrity for how long? Everybody know about Albie Shaw around my age. You had nigga hits. So why you complaining right now? Somebody took your woman and took your family from you. So I can understand why you probably bitter, man. I understand, you know, you was falling off. You know, the light skin thing was probably going out for you. You know, Puffy got on. He blew up with Biggie and Juicy and Misa. You know, she's young at that time. She was doing her designer thing. She was around Mary and she seen that train take off. She wasn't going to get off the stop with you. And she kept it pushing. And you know she's there for Puff because she was at the courthouse today. She was on her walker. You know, she's getting up there in age. You know, she probably had a stroke or something. I hope the sister get well, you know. But she was there to support her child's father. You know, she was there for the man that actually took her more out the hood and put her up and connected her with millions of people to make millions of dollars. Albie, you ain't do that. Puff raised your son. You ain't even do that. That's why she's there supporting him. Because he supported her in her time of need. So whether they together or not, which they haven't been together for over 20-something years, her loyalty showed her loyalty. She showed her loyalty today. She was with all the children. The mama was there too. All the girls that he actually don't have custody of. I think the twins, but they was there. And they had to step out to hear all of the sexual escapades that Puffy had during the cross-examination with the security guard, not security, excuse me, with the male escort and Cassie. You know, they had to tell the children to step out. I don't know if it was the judge or Puffy. Probably was Puffy because, you know, nobody wants their children to hear the type of things they do in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to hear that. It's like, come on now. I mean, you know, and it's real, and it's weird because while Cassie is explaining all this on the witness stand, her sexual escapades along with the testimony of the male escort, Cassie's husband is in court listening to this. And I know some of y'all probably saying, oh, wow, I know he was feeling away. I don't think so. Because if he was around Puffy and he was a male escort, he was around Puffy and around all of that, then he already knew what was going on. He probably was a part of it because he was Puffy's personal trainer. It's funny because I haven't heard no gay parties yet. All of y'all was talking about all this gay stuff. I haven't heard anything. All I'm hearing is about Cassie. That's all I hear. I don't hear about TT, Keisha, me, and all these other people that comes to the party. I haven't heard about the celebrities that comes to the parties. Maybe the after parties. We saw that. We saw pictures of everybody in the pool. I haven't heard nobody saying Ray J was at a sex party. He doing videos and that, talking about that on his little show or whatever, that he was at a party and there was some stuff that he shouldn't see. Then why you wasn't a witness? Because you lying. Let me tell you something about prosecutors. When they know you have evidence that you actually see that can help their case, they coming to get you. They want you as a witness. They know you was lying. That's why they ain't call Albie Shaw. That's why they ain't calling Jaguar White. That's why they ain't calling Gene Deal, who said y'all was a security for Biggie and Puffy and all of that. Yeah, you was, but you wasn't around none of that. As a matter of fact, I don't even think all those parties was popping off yet. All you could do right now, Gene Deal could talk about is the record thing the record contracts that Puffy was doing that allegedly jerked people for him to get rich. When it comes to this lifestyle, I don't think he was in the equation. I didn't think he was important for you to even be there. I don't think Puffy ever had you there. That's serious. Now, I believe Jay-Z was up in there. I believe a lot of them other millionaires was there. They ain't got nothing to say. You know, in the music industry, they have something called sex, drugs, and rock and roll, because that's all that goes on in the music industry. We've seen it by watching the old movies like The Five Heartbeats and Temptations, and the movie about Elvis. Elvis was on 12 drugs at the same time, and it was all pills. You had other celebrities that were shooting dope, snorting coke, and having sex parties. Yeah, man, after the show, let's call some women to the hotel room. That's a freak off, my man. Rod T, what's up? What's going on, Paige? Monica, TT, Keisha, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So these parties always was going on. The thing is, what I believe is the fact with Cassie, I believe that, you know, Puffy wanted things his way. We know that. We see him on, you know, the reality shows, the way he act. Sometimes when you got a bunch of yes men around, you got that type of money, you get a little cocky. You know what I'm saying? You get a little cocky. So I believe that I believe that, yeah. That's my assistant. You know, it's good to have assistants. She's breaking my pockets over here. But like I said, I lost my train of thought. But look, with Cassie, like I said, in that life, like I said, she was getting everything. Even her career, stood still, and she knew that, and she was okay with it because she was with a billionaire who was taking care. And the funny thing, throughout her whole testimony, she didn't even live with Puffy. Yo, you can't make this up. So if you never lived with Puffy, you didn't actually move in with Puffy ever, then that means you wasn't wifey material. You wasn't wifey. You just one of the chicks that he called to have freak offs with. The wifey, like Young Miami, she moved in. We know that. Young Miami has a baby by Puffy. That was wifey at one time. We know that. You don't hear her saying nothing because she was down with the freak offs and all of that. She was cool with that. That was her man. That's her baby father. She ain't got nothing to say. She living her best life. She ain't got to rap no more. She good. But now I think things dried up for Cassie. So you want to come out with a case or with accusations that happened at least 9-10 years ago? Come on, that's over with. Come on now. But like I said, the prosecutors, they wanna bring this up. You know, and they after black men. They look at your they look at your vices, your weakness, and they come after you. And they know Diddy's vices, his weakness was these sex parties that Hugh Hefner revolutionized, and all the celebrities go there. The same man that started the Playboy magazine and had most of all the A-list actresses' titties on the front cover. And then he had a sex party. He had Pamela Anderson there, Garcelle Beavis. Man, he had Janet Jackson on there with the snake, with the python butt naked selling. And you got to get paid to sell your coochie on the magazine. Come on, talk to me. This ain't new. This ain't new. It's been going on. But it was just that Puffy rubbed people the wrong way. That billion-dollar company, not billion, multi-billion-dollar company that distributes liquor in 180 countries. That's a real powerful liquor company. They pay for politicians to get in office to do their bidding. These are billionaires. These is money. These are rich people. You don't even know their name. You don't even know their last name. All you know is Diego. That's how powerful they are. That's all you know. You don't even know who's on a board. That's how powerful they are. And he took $1 billion settlement. You ever heard somebody get $1 billion settlement? I heard of 50,000, 100,000, $1 billion settlement. That had to make that company so mad. They said, "We coming after you." That's why he in a situation where he is. People getting bailed out. Cops is getting bailed out for killing people, black people, on bail. All he got is a sex party, scandal, and he can't come out of jail. They want him to suffer. They want him to break him. Even when he beat this case, and I do believe he's gonna beat it, when he come out, nobody gonna want to deal with him. But he's gonna have a whole lot of interviews because people want to hear what he got to say. And yeah, of course, he's gonna come out with one of those books. I survived. You know, I survived. I never stop, won't stop, and it's gonna set up. He gonna capitalize off this, and it's gonna be some lawsuits behind this too. It's gonna be some lawsuits behind this. He got a powerful team. I'm telling you, yo, they chewing the prosecutors up right now. But like I said, it's only day 2 on the trial. We don't know what else they got coming, but so far it ain't looking good. Because the only thing they're using right now is Cassie, that male escort, and that video. And that's not enough about no freak offs and 1,000 bottles of baby oil. So what? Chewy got me thinking I'm gonna use some baby oil. You know what I'm saying? Hey, slippery, easy access, nice lubricant. That's what people use in that lifestyle, you know? And now, you know, like I said, they're coming at a lot of black men because they know your vices. So you got Shannon Sharpe. Let's get right into it. Now, this guy, you know, we all know Shannon Sharpe's vice is white women, right? And since this came out with him, I think he was actually set up, but I also actually think that he was really out of pocket. Because at his age, don't get me wrong, like I said, you got a lot of young girls that deal with older men, especially in that industry. Jay-Z was with Beyonce when she was 16, they say. But he ain't do nothing, stay safe until she was 21, then they came out in the open. They say. I don't know. Russell Simmons, Kamora Lee even admitted. And he admitted. She said, you know, he came to my show and immediately he approached me. I was only 18 years old. Russell Simmons was in his damn 40s or going on his 40s at the time. And she said they didn't do nothing until they was 21, or until she was 21. So they say. I'm just saying, that's so they say, right? Well, younger women is doing too. I mean, older women do it too. What's her name? Jackie from 227. Remember her? She said she was dealing with Ray J when he was a young little teenage. She said, I just like younger boys. Younger men. She admitted that. There's a lot of them admit that. What was Elvis' wife? How old she was? 15 years old. He had fans outside of his house that wasn't even 18 yet. Nobody said nothing. Yeah, Ray J. She said that. She admitted it. Go on TikTok. She admitted it. I didn't know that. I was just scrolling one day and I saw it. I said, she admitted this? I forgot who she was beefing with. It was another older actress that it was oh man, what was her name? Marquez from Boomerang, Earth the Kid. Matter of fact, no, Earth the Kid was dealing with somebody. It wasn't Ray J, but she was dealing with another younger man, and Jackie was dealing with her. And Jackie explained that one day, Earth the Kid saw and slapped her across the face, like, "Yo, I don't appreciate you sleeping with my man." He was a young boy, and you know, Earth the Kid is twice her age. Earth the Kid was the first Catwoman in the 50s. We're talking about the 2000s. What the? But this is what I'm saying. So, you know, Shannon Sharpe, you know, like a lot of those other entertainers, they like those young girls, especially those young white girls. This is why he was talking to her so reckless on the phone, because this is something they've been doing. He didn't just come out and just start saying that. This is something they've been doing. So he like, you know, this is his fetish. You want that big black ball on top of you. You want to have that big black baby. This is his thing because he gets off, you know, having sex with white women. Maybe it's a fantasy thing, and he pictures himself as a Kunta Kinte. You know what I'm saying? Hey, we don't know. But when you start talking like that, it lets us know that you have a fetish for white girls, especially young white girls and she's so skinny. He talking about that he want her to lose more weight. I didn't know what kind of weight he wanted her to lose because she didn't even have a breast. To the point he said, yo, once you lose some more weight, I'm gonna give you some breasts. But my thing is, even though he's probably wrong, or not probably, or is wrong, and is wrong, because at this time he's 56 years old. He's 56. He's dealing with a 19-year-old. What can a 19-year-old at 56 years old can do for me? I don't understand. But they say white women are more submissive. Maybe they have a BDSM thing going. Maybe she's like maybe they have role plays that we don't know about. Because think about it. He released her texts after everything came out, right? But he kept his texts. I don't know what he was saying, but obviously he didn't expose. He must have been saying something real crazy. But I know it's a setup, because why would you record a conversation? When you record someone's conversation, your intentions before you speak to that person is to record them for future purposes. You have an intention. And this is not the first time they've been talking. This is not the first time they've been texting. They've been doing it quite some time. So obviously, I'm assuming he's been smashing. So what was your intention by recording him? You had something up your sleeve. And you probably knew that because Monique came on his show. Remember, it's all over social media. Monique came on his show and said, Shannon, you need to love somebody. Yes, I'm dealing with these young girls. She already knew. She already knew because the industry already, Cat Williams even put them on like, I'm afraid of white women. I'm afraid. He said, I'm afraid because I know what they can do, especially on his plateau, on his level. He ain't trying to lose everything. You see what happened to what was the brother name? The brother that was on Creed or Michael B. Jordan. He was his best friend about, and he got into it with a white girl, that white lady that he was dealing with, and she beat him up. And he ran from her. And he jumped into the car, and she jumped in with him, and he tried to hold her just to subdue her so she wouldn't keep whipping his behind. And he went to jail for that. He went to jail for getting his ass kicked. This is why Cat Williams said, I'm afraid of white women. He's afraid. Because dealing with them, if anything happened, automatically you going down. Monica said, to be honest, they can do a lot of things. They're young and have tons of energy. That's true. Because when you, I'm gonna backtrack for a minute. And I noticed this, right? When I was running the streets, right? And you start getting a certain amount of money. I wasn't rich, but I wasn't broke, right? Put it like this. My shit was respected. Put it like that, right? And a lot of older females didn't want to deal with me because I had that young energy. You know, I dressed with the Timbs, you know what I'm saying? I had that young energy. I was listening to Jadakiss, and they knew I was the type of dude they couldn't control and put in a household or think about bills and everything and don't want to go out and have fun. I'm not gonna be like that. I'm not living like I'm senile. I have energy. I'm running around. So that is not compatible with an older female that already got herself situated, probably did everything she already did and don't want to go out and have fun no more. She just want to go to work, come home, pay the bills, and do the same thing over and over, or go out once in a while every now and then with her friends. I'm outside every weekend and I'm hustling. So the weekends is my day. I got to be outside. And after I make my certain money, I could go and do whatever I want to do with different females. Now, younger females, they don't care about that. They like the money. They like to be driven some places. They like to go to different places because the young boys ain't doing that. They ain't putting a little money in their pocket. To them, $50 is good, depending on what kind of female you're dealing with and what location you at. You know what I'm saying? But some females, they go with a little $100, $50, $20 in their pocket. You take them out to eat and so forth. These young girls is content with that, especially if they, you know, they pop and eat, smoking weed. You know how you do it when you was younger. We all experimented. So they feel like they're content with an older man doing that. And every time they turn around, they need to go places, that older man can drive them there. that older man can give them money and buy some little sneakers or something. They're content with that. They can't get that with a young dude nowadays. Most young dudes, either they scamming, they gang banging, they doing other things. And I'm not putting everybody in a barrel. I'm just trying to break down why most younger females go with older men and vice versa. You understand what I'm saying? So Shannon Sharpe, he's in an industry where most of the people in sports, especially in sports and NBA and the NFL, they like white women. Most of all his baby mamas or relationships is with white women. So now a white woman is taking his ass down because he put himself in that position. This is why Monique told him, you need to get somebody to love you. Because those young white girls, them young girls, they don't love you. Man, you making 50 million a year on just your podcast. And then you was about to sign $100 million. You putting yourself on the line of fire, man. Now nobody don't want to deal with him. Nobody even want to talk about him. They don't want to support him. They know what he was doing. See, it was all good a week ago when they could get on his podcast for their own views, and they probably was doing the same thing too, but they just ain't get caught. Now his career is in shambles because now he got high profile contracts like he had, like Diddy, and they getting ready to sign him off. Now the white girl want 50 million. She want 50 million for sexual abuse. I don't know how she say she want 50 million because according to them texts and the things she was saying, I don't see how she could get 50 million. And then in the video, she trying to make herself look innocent. She like, I feel uncomfortable. Why you saying you want to put a big black baby on me? I don't. Come on. He's saying it because you already opened the door for him to talk to you like that. That's why you recorded it. That's why she recorded it. And she wouldn't come back. She wasn't trying to feed into it, making it seem that he was comfortable already talking to her like that. That's why you think you're going to just jump up and talk to a white woman like that? Yo, you'll take this big black and you're going to get a big black book and I'm going to take it from you and rape you and stuff like that. You're not going, you got to get comfortable to talk to someone like that. That's a charge. Especially if your name's Shannon Sharpe and you got a podcast where you got A-list celebrities and B-list celebrities on, you got to move different. He blew himself up. He got caught in the white girl trap like so many other brothers do. This is what they doing out there, you know? So now we gonna move on. Because I'm gonna try to end this a little quicker than normal because I know I'm on here a little long. So you got this young lady called Shyla Hendricks, right? You gotta check out on TikTok, put a page on blast. She was in a park and there was a young black boy, 5 years old. And you know how kids is, you know, I seen this too. My daughter did this and I had to stop her, where you'll see other children, your child will see another child and they like the toy that the child is playing with and they'll automatically walk up to that child and take the toy. Not saying they taking it because they're 5 years, they don't know what they do. They just see something they like and they take it, right? So this white woman felt offended that this black child has done that. So she called the child a nigger. You know, you took my daughter's toy, so you little nigger. So I can hear through the video, the brother had to have been Hispanic. And he said, yo, why would you say that? Why would you attack a 5-year-old like that? She was like, I don't care what. She was like, I don't effing care. I say what I want to do it on. He said, yeah, but you called him a nigger. She said, that's right. I call him a nigger again. And he was like, oh yeah? Go ahead, do it. Do it. And she was like, nigger, that nigger boy. He was like, yo, that's crazy that you would say something like that. She was like, because that's how he's acting and that's what he's going to be. Because he took my daughter's toy. He said, all right, well, you're going to be viral right now. She said, I don't care, F off. Now, she really went viral. She really went viral. Because now I'm assuming that her job is probably looking at her crazy. The black people on her job is looking at her crazy. All people on her job is looking at her crazy. So now she come out with this fake claim and says that her life is being threatened and she needs help financially where she can't make any money. So now instead of GoFundMe, they have this thing called Give, Send, Go, where she made up an account. You know, this white woman already raised $600,000. This shows you the racism in America. See, this is why I don't get mad with Rodney Hinton. This is why black people need to stick together. You see how the racist white people stuck together? By us doing that and saying that, attacking a 5-year-old boy, a 30-something-year-old woman. White people woke up to support her against a nigger baby. I gotta say it like that. I gotta say that's how they looking at it. A nigger baby. So now you got a young sister, I forgot her name. She's trying to find ways to make sure she don't get the proceeds. Why not? You start Rodney Hinton GoFundMe. This woman attacked a 5-year-old baby. And y'all ready to give her the money. And she's not even in jail. I don't even know if she got fired. But I know she almost generated $1 million. Just by saying, I'm afraid for my life. Because white people was thinking the niggas gonna kill her like they did, like Rodney Hinton Jr. did. We gotta protect our white woman. And that's what they did. And they're trying to be quiet about it. So we don't know. But it's coming out. It's coming out right now. Because that's like the next big story that's out. You got Rodney Hinton's top #1. You got Diddy. And now you got Karen. I'm just call her Karen. Now you got her. Now, last thing I'm gonna talk about, and it's gonna be real quick before I end. Do you know we are under martial law? No, for real. We're under martial law. We're under martial. Hit that like button. Hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button. We're under martial law, right? And yeah. Okay. Like I said, we're under martial law. And nobody's talking about it. And it's very scary. I really want you to pay attention to me. But this is very, very important. I know I talked about the Diddy stuff and all that, but this right here, this is for every person, everybody of color, person of color. You have to really pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. Donald Trump, in I believe the earliest of May, signed executive order. He didn't say actually martial law. What he actually did was he signed executive order allowing unused military weapons to be donated to every precinct in America. Donald Trump signed an executive order for unused, which is brand new, military weapons, not that 45 and 9 and on, military weapons to be used in the precincts. And from this point on, they don't need probable cause to arrest anybody or search anybody as long as they have a feeling that crime is being taken place. And nobody's talking about it. He just removed probable cause. Are you listening to me? So what does that say about these police and the police precincts in our neighborhood? What does that say? When it comes to you young boys, they don't got to say freeze no more to you. They just let you have it with an AR-15. You see when they do it to Rodney Hinton already. They removed this family out of the courtroom and they was in the courtroom at least 30 deep. Did you see outside? I wish I had the video. They had over 200 cops outside. That's intimidation. That's why he filed a $25 million lawsuit yesterday. Because they violated his right and they tried to intimidate him in the courtroom. They stood up next while he was walking past. Why are you standing there for? You're supposed to be sitting down. You're supposed to be on the other side of the mirror or the glass or something. And then they removed his family. Because what I seen in the video, He looked back and his family waved like, yo, we here. They had him on, had his family on the way in the back. All the enemies was up front. And he did like this. It gave him energy. It gave him spirit. It gave him a good spirit. See, this is why I always say family need to support each other because it makes you stronger. He didn't care about what would have happened to him. He saw his family. He was like, yeah. They didn't like that. That's why they wanted to remove them. Because he was a strong black man. Stop that. You know, so Donald Trump signed the executive order. And I know a lot of people will say, oh, Donald Trump is not racist. And, you know, I know some people heard of that, or now I'm pretty sure you believe that now, right? I want you to hear something. Because a lot of people say, oh, he's not. I'm going to show you how much love he had for people of color, especially you so-called Latinos out there that voted for him. And now look what he's doing to you. I want you to hear this. Hold on.
In the 1980s, Trump's casinos were accused of hiding the black. Okay, I will. 1973, the Nixon administration sued Trump for refusing to rent to black people. 1980s, Trump's casinos were accused of hiding the black staff when Trump visited. 1989, Trump took out a full-page ad arguing for the death penalty for a group of 5 black men at Central Park 5, effectively putting a bounty on their heads and plaguing them with a lifetime of death threats. He was sued by the Justice Department for discrimination. 1991, black guys counting my money. I hate it. The only kinds of people I want counting my money are short guys that wear yarmulkes every day. I think the black guy is lazy, and it's probably not his fault because laziness is a trait in blacks. It really is. 1992, Trump's casino was fined $200,000 for transferring black dealers off certain tables to appease racist patrons. 1993, Trump said Native American casinos shouldn't be allowed because they don't look like Indians to me. 2000, Trump ran a series of attack ads against Native American casinos, alleging, with no proof, that they were guilty of crimes. 2004, Trump fired a black contestant from The Apprentice for being overeducated. 2010, Trump arguing in favor of segregating Muslims in Lower Manhattan. 2011, birtherism. Trump alleged that Obama was Kenyan based on nothing but skin color. He never apologized nor denied. Name one time Trump was.
See, that's your enemy. That's what's giving you the stimulus package you thought was looking out for you. And actually, he was looking out for white people, and he was looking out for billionaires who had businesses. So he needed to give us money so we could give them the money so the country could stay afloat. This had nothing to do with saving you. This had nothing to do with saving you. The only thing that was sad was a lot of us that got all this flip money, because that's what I'm going to call it, flip money. We did nothing with it. We was partying. And I say we because I'm talking about us as a whole. You know what I mean? So this was going on. He signed martial law. That's martial law. You don't need no right to arrest anybody. You could just do it and then figure it out later. That's what martial law is. So when we start to go out there and protest and all of this stuff, and we come out like the Black Panther Party with the militia and all the guns, then the police could come out and do what they could do because it's under martial law. All he got to do is say go. But right now, you know, they trying to get him out of office, so they say. I don't believe it. I don't believe it because when Clinton, as soon as he got caught up with Monica Lewinsky, man, within like 3 months, he was going on his little court hearings for impeachment. Trump doing what he want to do because they loving it. The only ones that's complaining and that's politicians, the only ones that claiming that's politicians are the one that's not in the circle that's getting that money. But prior to Trump, when they was with Obama, they was getting that money. It was all good just a week ago. But he stopped all that. Stopped all that. And now he over there trying to mess with the Africans. He got to leave them alone. You can't win no war. I'm sorry. And if you sign into this military, you think you're going to go over there and you think you're going to tell them Africans something, or you're going to try to shoot their heads off, you got another thing coming, man. They guerrilla warfare over there. They go to war every day, all day, even on your damn crucifixion day. You know what I'm saying? So they're prepared. You're not prepared. So with that being said, I'm going to say good night. Thank you for tuning in. God bless. Make sure y'all have a good night. Get some good sleep. I know tomorrow's going to be a long day probably for y'all tomorrow. Some of y'all have to work, but I don't. Later.